What is happening? Good old Sunday. Y'all probably out watching football or something like that. Just wanted to chop it up with y'all for a little bit. Got a little exercise I wanted to work on. I've been thinking about it for a few days. I'm gonna get straight to it. So, my brother-in-law, he challenged me a few days ago. Well, not a few days ago, over about a month ago, beginning of January, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want to try to, be consistent and build, build my audience." So it's like, cool. He's like, let's do a 30-day challenge. I was like, okay, what does it entail? Let's try to get, a video out, for the rest of the month. I was like, cool, let's do it. So I think it was a really good exercise. And I don't want to stop it because I feel like I want to try to create the habit of being consistent. For you guys that don't know, that's the part that a lot of people struggle with, especially in business. When you're wearing multiple hats and you don't have time to do everything, sometimes you fall short on stuff that you need to be doing consistently, like marketing. So my thought process with this is, hold on, we're getting a message here. Boom, boom, boom. A lot of messages. Um, my thought process is to challenge you guys because for the next 30 days, which will be February. Right now it's the 26th. Today is January 26th. Let me pull this calendar up here. So the first is next Saturday, guys. The first is next Saturday. And we got an opportunity to try to get a stretch in. We wanted to do a marketing stretch. A marketing stretch. What I mean by that is, you know how before somebody go to work out and start pushing all that weight, they don't just get on the bench. If you ain't been working out in a while, you don't just go jump on a bench and toss 250 up there and just, you know what I'm saying? It take a little bit of a, prep, work your way up to it. You gotta kind of stretch, make sure your muscles are ready to handle that type of weight. That's what I'm thinking about for a marketing stretch for what I'm thinking. Thought process is to do something that you're very knowledgeable in already as your business. Like for all you guys out there, more than likely, if you run a service-based business, you're very familiar with what you do because you're doing it day in, day out. Like you know this thing from front to back. And what you don't understand is there's an audience out there of people that's looking for you, as far as your customers. And sometimes we get up in a loop and thinking that we have to play the game how everybody else is playing it. We have to spend these marketing dollars to make these things happen, or they won't happen. I won't reach this level unless I invest this money this way. But that's not necessarily true all the time. There's more than one way to do things, and sometimes you can organically reach people without paid marketing, like Facebook ads, Google ads. For example, I got a buddy who has a moving company, right, in my local area, and what he does is he get all of his business and all his leads, which he has 4 trucks on the road, and he have a few different teams that work the whole low country area, and they actually go out of state, etc., for moving furniture and moving people from one location, far as everything that's in the house to another location. And he used to work for me at one point. Like part time, he used to work for me. When I had landscape projects, he'll come out and give me a hand and things like that. And I noticed he was thriving, and me and him, I try to keep positive relationships with people in general. I was like, hey man, I see you like you going crazy out here, kind of. I was like, what type of marketing are you doing to amplify all these leads? He's like, well, to be honest, I only use one thing. I was like, what? One thing? He's like, yeah, I only use Facebook. I only use Facebook. And I was blown away. I'm like, okay, a lot of people use Facebook. And is he putting money behind these? Is he running certain types of ads? But he was like, no. He was like, I'm actually, he's like, so I do work, of course. We do a good job, of course, at everything we do. We deliver a quality service to the client, right? And then after that, we we make sure to get a review. Like he's really good at getting reviews. You guys know how it is. You probably watched some of my previous videos when it comes to reviews. Those reviews go a long ways. But He get reviews from the customers, but the level of satisfaction that people are with his service, he's growing two ways by not only being on Facebook and creating a post, saying that we just moved the person from Charleston to Charlotte, North Carolina, or from North Carolina to Somerville, etc. Anywhere in the local area here. Not only is he growing like that, as far as just putting himself out there, it's how he's doing it. His analytics is crazy. So, for instance, if I was to run a Facebook ad, and you guys probably are familiar with this as well, when you're running Facebook ads, it tells you how many people you're going to reach within a specific area, based off of the filters that you use to target your audience. So if you know that you want to target, let's say, people who make a certain amount of money or live within a specific zip code or a specific city, etc., and you put an ad that you're trying to run behind that, as far as, okay, I want to just try it out to see how it works out. Let me spend $100 and see how this works out within a 4 day time span. That's an average of $25 per day to see, 4 days for $100, ad campaign, just to see what type of traction. Facebook is going to tell you, okay, you will reach anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000 or 2,000 to 3,000, however many amount of people based off of the criteria that you selected. So with that being said, that's $100 invested to reach those people. I think it does tailor a little bit for if you're trying to reach a specific person, and people that engage with certain types of things that's looking for that is probably more beneficial. But in the same token, you're able to reach 2 to 4,000 people when you're doing a paid ad. That's on Facebook. He showed me his analytics, and his analytics showed he was reaching up to 40,000 people engaging with his content. I'm like, what? How is that possible, right? So I'm like, hey man, you got to tell me that. You got to tell me, what are you doing to reach all these people like that? Because that's a lot of people reaching, just have an impression on your content. That's a lot of people that's able to, seek you out based off of your business come across their feed, your news feed. So he was like, this is what I do. He said, there's so many groups, of course. There's moms groups, there's, city groups. There's so many different types of groups. I get into these groups. I look at the rules and things like that these groups require you to abide by, and I follow the rules. Some groups don't allow business to post on specific days, so I don't post on those days. But when I do post, more than likely, if it's once a week, maybe twice a week, it really depends on the group. I'm able to reach, all these people by posting those into those groups. So for instance, one post that he'll have will be shared within 10 to 15 groups. Mind you, these groups are not small. One group that me and him are in together has 80,000 people. Just because a group has 80,000 people, that don't mean he's going to reach every single person in that group. But 80,000 people, it depends on how active they are, etc. But what if he reached 5%, 10% of that 80,000 people within that one group? That's a lot of impressions. That's just one group though. Another group might have 20,000. Another group might have 10,000. You get what I'm saying? These are multiple groups. The cool thing about these groups is they're tailored for the local area. So there's not per se people that's in other states that are in these local based groups, because it's local based, like something that says low country residents or, whatever tailored for that city. More than likely, that's what's going to attract people to the group. And being that those groups are so packed like that, and he's posting in them, he's getting a lot of exposure. And he said, man, I get leads in consistently and it keeps my schedule full. So that's one way. That's one way we can get into this thing, and without spending money, and leverage just getting in front of the people that we need to, that will anticipate buying our services. But in the same token, there's a few other ways you can do it. Another way that I've been wanting to get to for a while is YouTube. Sometimes we don't think about it, but Google. Let's say Google. Google is the biggest search platform, period. When people are looking for something, they look for Google. who's under Google when it comes to when people are searching for stuff? YouTube. And guess what? Google owns YouTube. So what that means is I feel like there's a piece that we kind of been avoiding that we could kind of give more attention to that will actually help us get more local relevancy for our businesses. So say if you posted videos on your YouTube and it's keyword targeted, like for instance, if you have a video, it don't have to be a long form, it don't have to be a long format like this, like a landscape. It can be a short video, like short, like reels. But if you posted a video that said, carpet cleaning in Fort Myers, Florida. I'm just using a random city, random name. More than likely, that criteria is searchable because it's Google's gonna serve the customer up, the prospect up, the most relevant information to what they're looking for. And if it's local based far as it's in Fort Myers, as a carpet cleaning company, you know what? Let's put this video in from them because this keyword targeting more than likely it's for this type of thing that this person is looking for. So what that presents is the opportunity for you to get more exposure with people that don't even know you. There's a channel that I follow. I love looking at web development, SEO, etc., because it's like it's continuing to change day by day. It's advancing, etc. So it's a guy that I follow, Wes McDowell. He has an interview that he done with Bobby K Designs. It's a landscape company. Bobby K is a local based business that presented information to prospects. And it wasn't more so of a how to do something. It was just giving people, explaining the difference of, the things and options that they can choose from and some, three budget friendly designs, etc. Stuff like that that gives clients a perspective on that, hey, they have more options. And stuff like that is helpful because sometimes people don't know these things. And say if you're local based and you got a bunch of competition, when it comes to like small services, like it can be tough. So by you being able to, like this Bobby K guy, creating videos local based, people were finding him locally and he doubled, tripled his business. And he even started doing things where he actually started going out of state to do, landscape projects and stuff like that because people believed in the thing that he was saying because he was presenting the information. There's many people out there that are expert in things and they're not putting it out there. They're not putting it out there. Like people don't know you exist when you're doing what everybody else doing. In the days of AI becoming a thing and people able to easily create content, where do you think the market's going to go? You think people are going to read something and just be like, oh, I'm going with this? Because so much information can be just fabricated. People want that more organic touch. They want to buy from a person who they almost know, like, and trust. You guys probably heard that before. And by creating video content, it puts a person to it. So it's important. It's almost a sell factor. First rule of sales, guys, is what? Sell yourself. So if they see you presenting information and they feel as if you're confident in what you're telling them, more than likely, they'll continue to follow you. And next thing you know, they're booking you for a service. So you're getting organic reach by people who are finding you via Google, also YouTube and Facebook. That's just one way of looking at it. And my thought process is to this 30-day challenge that I kind of want to create. This is just, I'm being a little selfish with it, guys, because this is what something I want to help keep me accountable as far as seeing I can keep up with it. If y'all don't know, I struggle sometimes, as everybody else probably do sometimes, with being consistent at certain things. I might be focused on something else, and it's hard to be consistent on multiple things. So sometimes I lose track of being consistent, especially when it comes to certain things. But anywho, this right here would be a challenge for myself, and I think it'll be helpful for anybody else who lack the consistency of getting in front of the camera. First, you got to punch fear in the face, guys. Let's punch fear in the face. You can't have 101 excuses. I don't want to hear it. It's so many people that got 101 excuses why they can't get on video. I need a perfect camera. Oh, I need this. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's people online, on TikTok, on YouTube, on all these different platforms, and they're thriving because they're starting from where they're at, and it's raw material, it's organic material. And if you overthink it, it just hinders you from actually doing the thing that you're supposed to do. my thought process of this 30-day challenge that I want to try to see if you guys are interested in. I'm actually going to leave a link in this description. It's going to be to a private Discord. That way, it's more so of an accountability thing. And the goal is to do this: create one video. There's many different ways you can do this. You can if you're very familiar and you know you can knock this out like nothing, and you're confident, it can be. Not say it has to be complex information. It don't have to be super unique. It, just make it your material. You know what I mean? Because there's people that's out there that already probably spoke on the thing that you'll be making a video about. However, it never came from you. So when people connect the face versus a voiceover versus just a picture or versus just words that they read, and they connect it with a person actually saying this, and it builds a little bit of trust, guys. So the goal is to exercise, get that little pre-workout before the season kicks off. Because for me, and for many landscape business owners in the South, the season typically kicks off, start getting more demand around March, April, and stuff like that. If we start to stretch for February, let's say February 1st, and do a 30-day stretch of consistent content, and the goal is to share it across either 1 to 2 platforms. That way we're not overdoing it. But it can be short form or long form. Either way you want to go, share it across multiple platforms. That way you can get exposure. I want to see how many people can be changed by having organic material that people are keeping up with, and they actually start to gain some local relevancy, and customers start reaching out to them based on those videos. Because they don't necessarily have to find your Google business profile. They can find you on the search by just typing it in on Google. Videos pop up too, guys. Not just words, not just blog posts, but websites and stuff like that. Videos pop up too. They're searchable. I like YouTube because it's so evergreen. It's so evergreen. It's not like TikTok, and it's not like Instagram. Those platforms are a little bit more of a challenge for me. Reason being is the short attention span of it. It requires an abundance amount of work to keep up with those platforms. If you're trying to be consistent and stuff like that, I want something that I post to last in a sense forever, like it does on here on YouTube. It's one video that I have that I posted on this channel. It has 81,000 views. I got another video that just crossed 21,000 views. It's evergreen, meaning it's always going to be fruitful in the next few years, and it's always going to be relevant for people to actually search. So I'm ranking off of search right now. People can type in, if you go how to remove a shrub, I'm number 6 on that search, and it's going to continue to grow. It's going to reach over 100,000 views, which is very cool. But imagine if that, instead of it being for this channel, if it was for my business channel and it was relevant to my prospects that I want to actually buy my service. Makes a big, 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 big difference, And I think it's necessary to start to hone in on what is necessary as far as the prospects, because I don't only do it for other landscaper and other business owners. It's some information that I've shared on this channel that could have been helpful on my business channel, but I haven't put that stuff on there. So this is going to be a good stretch for everybody, myself included, to stretch the muscles to actually prepare people to find me on YouTube or on Facebook. So let me see that. Hold on. I'm getting text message, y'all. My bad. But anybody got any questions, man? While I'm over here talking, because I don't want to overlook. Anybody got any questions where I'm at right now? All right. So there's a few different things that you can use to make it easy. This is what I'm going to tell you. So we got things, you don't have to spend money. This is why I'm talking about organic marketing. You don't have to spend money. So Canva, you can use that absolutely free. Canva has a thing where it actually posts videos to multiple different platforms if you need it. So in reality, if you create a short form video, you can upload it into Canva, and you can actually share it out to YouTube and to Facebook. Once they get into your Facebook, you share it into multiple groups. Right now, a little bit of the pre-work you should be doing, though, if you're looking to take on this challenge starting February 1st, is go ahead and find those groups, get part of those groups, and get familiar with the rules of those groups. Because that's the game we playing, y'all. We're playing a game of reaching the people without the cost of it, because it can be costly spending money in marketing. And the goal is to just see what happens on an organic standpoint, right? Then after that, man, after we get this stretch in over the 30 days, I want it to become a habit for everybody. That's the goal. The goal is for you consistently do it for 30 days and it become a habit. Do you like your YouTube with the Google My Business and your website? Do you link? Yes, yes, yes. So my business channel, I have a few videos where I did a few conceptual designs as far as landscape designs, where I did an outdoor living space. And what I did was, I was just flexing a little bit to my clients the things that's possible. But within that YouTube video, I put it's keyword target like sod installation in Somerville, South Carolina, for instance, right? And within that, I have the website. You can either put that in the title or you can put it in the description. But you definitely link your Google My Business to it. You want as many call outs to those pages so Google know all these things are connected. Traffic can be measured from different platforms. So when it's coming from YouTube going to Google, they know that it came from which platform. So when you look at analytics, because there's ways to track where things come from, it definitely links so you'll know where your leads are coming from. But the goal is to screen. You can actually have a screening process as well. Like when people go to my website, for instance, because that's the goal is to get them to my website, I have a screening process to where I ask them, multiple questions, because I don't want anybody thinking that they can just reach out and, everything's happy go lucky. Just like they're interviewing to find out if they want to deal with me, we got to kind of screen them to an extent. Hey, have you guys budgeted for this, landscape project? What's your budget? You know what I mean? Oh, two to 5,000 or 5 to 10, like whatever they say. Is this information that you need early on? That way, when you speak to this prospect, you have a better idea of what to communicate, what's possible based on their budget. Because sometimes people, they go to McDonald's, but they want a steak dinner. You know what I mean? And then you got to have a screening process. I'm pretty sure you probably dealt with stuff like that before as well. But the goal is to try to stretch the muscles, guys. Get a little pre-workout in before the season, and it could become a habit. The way we're going to keep each other accountable is I do have a link that I'm going to put in the description of this video. It's a Discord, and it says a 30-day challenge Discord, and we'll basically be communicating. I'm pretty sure, I don't know how many people are going to join, but I feel like it'll be easily available for us to keep, see who's being active on this thing. The goal is not for me to, say, oh, you didn't do it. At the end of the day, there's many ways you can do it. You can stockpile this content. For instance, if you're very knowledgeable on the thing that you do right now, you can create 10 videos and you can schedule them to go out each day. One go out this day, one go out that day. You can literally schedule it to go out. So there's no excuse to thinking that you have to do all this stuff day by day and every day. The goal is to get ahead of the curve. That way you have consistent content popping up and people can start to recognize you a little bit more. So that's the culprit of, what I'm trying to create here. But definitely, if you guys don't have a website, it would save you a lot of headache and communication. Not to say I'm an introvert or nothing like that, and I don't like talking to customers, but I do like for my clients to be prospects to be well informed before they reach out to me, because not to say you waste a lot of words and things that they should know because you have so much information online, but the more information that you put out there and the more they just reviewing you as far as your videos or whatever content you have out, it helps the process. They'll call you and say, hey, I seen your video where you were doing this. That's exactly what I need. And based off of what you said that if it's a oak tree in this yard that I couldn't get, Bermuda grass because it's shaded. So I already know that I'm pretty sure based off your video that I'm going to need some St. Augustine. And based off the video as well, you did say St. Augustine only comes with 400 square feet per pallet. I think my property is around this mark, but how about you come out and we check it out? But I love your video. That's the type of response that that's the type of client I'm looking for, because they're well informed. They actually watched it thoroughly. I love informed clients because it saves you headache, guys. It saves you headache, and they know that they're getting a person who has integrity on what they're doing versus somebody who's cash doing a cash grab. Like I go the extra mile when it comes to my clients, because I try to preach that I'm not a a quantitative type person. Like, hey, I'm not trying to rush to get off to the next property. I'm trying to provide you with a high quality service, so you know I can land other customers like you, and also you'll tell your friends about me, right? That's what we want. But referrals, when people say referrals, I feel as if that's an organic way, and you should be growing by referrals, no ifs, ands, or buts. When people say, "Oh, I grew by referral only," to me, that's no duh. You better be growing by referrals. You better be doing good, having good integrity, doing the right thing on these properties, and growing by referrals. You better be. But yeah. Y'all got any questions, man? Any questions? Drop some questions down there, man. Google business listing. If you don't got one, guys, make sure you get one. It's the right side. Um, if you don't have a Google business listing, definitely get one. Think about this. Let's just let me paint this picture for you. When you have a Google business profile, I'm being 1000% with you. So you might look in your city right now, right? And you see there's a carpet cleaning person, right? And if you type in carpet cleaning company near me, right? You're gonna see people pop up. You might see somebody that has a ton of reviews, etc., and they're ranked top in the city. If you have a Google business profile, it's not only based off the person who's been in the game so long and the person who's got all these reviews, it's based off proximity as well. So if your neighbor, say you create a carpet cleaning company, and your neighbor or a guy down the street or even in your neighborhood is looking for a carpet cleaning company, guess who you think is going to pop up first? You're going to pop up because it's based on proximity. People start to miss that. So some people have a misrepresentation that they're ranking number one in their city because they're looking at their business listing when they're home. Of course, you're going to look like number one, but that's not necessarily true from a overall standpoint of the city. So it's relevant for you to focus on things like that as well. I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole because it can get pretty deep on that. And I think I need to do some future videos about that. I'm pretty passionate about just Google in general. I love Google. I'm invested in Google, you know what I'm saying? Because things like that is, you have to be in tune with something that has so much control over the social media platforms. The two biggest, Google, the biggest search engine, and YouTube is considered like almost like a social media as well. So we have to be in tune with what drives them and things like that. But just for the shorts, make sure you got your Google business profile just for that reason. You can be number one based off of uh, the distance of the customer. It's not necessarily always the whole city. Like if you type in landscaping in Orlando, like it's not going to show you because you're a new company and there's many companies that have more skin in the game, more reviews, more pictures, more etc. that makes them hold those positions. But over time, you can gain the relevancy, if you're doing the right thing as far as making sure you're uploading pictures in relevant areas and things like that. There's so many that can get deep, y'all. That can get deep, and I ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole because Google My Business is a game changer, period, alone. And when you don't have one, you just really just costing yourself. It don't cost either, man. I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day. What do you think about Yelp? Hey, oh, good question. Thank you for asking that question. Yes, Yelp, guys. Yelp, Yelp, Yelp. So my brother-in-law, he has a tile business. He has a flooring and tile business, and he's like, yeah, man, I pay like $700 a month. And I was like, what are you paying? He said Yelp. I was like, dude. So when you think of uh, companies like Yelp, Angie's List, Thumbtack, all those for the most part, they're lead generation type companies. And basically they're gonna find the lead and then they're gonna sell the lead to you at a price. The only problem with that is they're not just selling them to you. They're gonna send that out to 10, 15 other contractors. And that's not fair. when you're paying, let's say, 15 bucks or 10 bucks for this lead just for you to have a conversation with them, but they're sifting through the right person. I don't like to be in that type of competition. Yelp can be costly, but he's paying like 750 bucks a month. I say, hey, we scrapping all of that because he don't even have a website. This is one of the brother-in-laws who just got married into the family and all that. So I'm gonna get them shaped up because you shouldn't be paying Yelp. Yelp is also used as a citation. If you guys know about citations, that's when you have your name, your business name, your address, and your phone number across the web anywhere. That's considered a citation. So when you have Google is the number one citation you want. Google and maybe some of your social media platforms, in a sense, those are citations. But when you start giving power, some of those things can power your site. Like if you guys ever heard someone say, "Oh, I need a guest post," they use that in the SEO world. Basically, that's somebody with a high domain authority. A domain authority is somebody who get a lot of traffic to their website, which makes their domain authority. It ranges anywhere from a 0 to 100. And some sites, domain authority can be 90, 80. So if you get a company like a local newspaper company, for instance, they have a high domain authority. And if they guest post, because this is a thing, it's very common, they can actually, you can say, hey, I want to pay for a guest post. They're like, okay, that'll be 150 bucks for them to link stuff to your website or to your business listing, whatever you want them to link it to. But the thing is, they get so much traffic to the newspress.com for the whatever local city that some of that traffic by default you will get those impressions, and it will power your website and make your website rank higher as well. So that's the game that, people with deep pockets, that's the game they play. They're like, hey, let me reach out to this SEO company. This SEO company knows everything about this. What they're going to do, they're going to power me up. They're going to find my local person, and they're going to get these guest posts that's going to be relevant to my business. And it's going to power my business to where when people are searching in my area, I'm getting a bunch of more traffic. Those are some things that are at play. But that's just, I don't want to get down a rabbit hole about it, but Yelp, I wouldn't use it. I signed up for it at the very beginning, but then I was like, you know what? When you sign up for any lead generation company, in reality, you're setting yourself up to compete with yourself. Yes, you're setting yourself up to compete with yourself. The reason being is you don't want to, when people search for your business, you don't want them to find Yelp first. You want them to find your website first, right? So if you got a website, you want them to find your website. You don't want them to find Yelp because that's giving too much power to a place that you have to pay to get to that position. You get what I mean? And that's what a lot of different companies. I didn't do the lead generation thing. One thing that I did do to kind of grow my lawn care business at the very beginning, I think it's an app called GreenPal that I use. And basically, they find the customer and you tie it to your account and you do reoccurring service. I did like 75 services on there, and it worked out pretty good. It was not a lead generation where I paid for the customer though. It was more so I signed up and they found a lead and they charged the lead, I think maybe 50 bucks, and I was making 40 bucks every week. I was like, hey, that works for me. The customer was happy, doing a good job. They make their 10 bucks. I make 40. It's a hands off. They're just finding a lead. So lead generation can definitely help grow a business. But when it comes to citations and listing yourself on those platforms, you take a hit at it. You take a hit because when you're trying to build out your organic profile, you don't want people to go to those things or even get confused and find other stuff before they find you. So be mindful of the citations that you have. Not to get off subject though. Back to the 30-day challenge, guys. So anybody excited about it, shoot me a comment because I think it'll be interesting to see how many people take action. It's not easy to be consistent at something, especially if you don't have people going with you, or sometimes you don't know how to do stuff, and that's very understandable. So any questions you'll have as far as how to create a video, I'm gonna tell you a few apps that I use that help me create content. Like I can shoot off the dome and just go hit record and do a regular video off my phone and just post it. But however, sometimes say if you got a standard of how you want to deliver a video, you can use things like CapCut. CapCut, they do have a free version of it, but I do use a paid subscription on that. I'm not recommending you guys use anything paid because the goal of this is to let's see what you can do with organic marketing by creating video talking about the thing, that way you can inform your prospects so they can build to help build trust so they'll want to buy from you when the time comes. Spring is around the corner. We don't want to try to market when everybody's doing it. It just makes you irrelevant. It's like, oh, there's 100 companies reaching out to me. You can get ahead of the ball game now in a different way by just creating content and putting it in front of the customers. They might not buy now because the season is not in yet, but guess what? When the season do get in, they're gonna strike. They're gonna be like, man, this dude talked about this, that, in multiple different ways. Like, for instance, let me give you guys, an idea of the type of content that you could be making. I already gave you one example of like a landscape company. He was creating like three budget friendly designs that work for many of our clients, something like that. And I'm assuming in that video, he's telling people that instead of using Colorado River Rock, you can actually use pine straw and you'll be able to get much farther just based off the cost. There's many other factors that go into the cost of pine straw. Pine straw, you can just put it down. It's cheap. It works, but it does lose coloration. It does lose coloration after a few months. With rock, however, it's very costly. It's very labor intensive, and you do need a landscape geotextile fabric to prevent those rocks from sinking, which increases the cost of rock. That's just an example. You telling somebody who don't know all these details. That's important. You telling them that why it costs so much to do a rock install versus pine straw. Pine straw, you really don't need too much. And then also in videos like this, what I'm going to be doing is, if you're in move, because there's a ton of development going on in my area right now. So for instance, I can make a video saying, hey guys, when they installed when they created your beautiful home, you probably got pine straw because it was the least thing, the minimum thing they could put down for ground cover, and it was cost effective for the builders. However, when we lift up this pine straw, guys, I don't know if you know about new construction, but guys, you got beer cans, you got sticks, you got big boulder rocks, and guess what? It's really unlevel. You don't know that though because pine straw is like, it has easy airflow. So when you lift it up, you're gonna see the ground is like, it has a pot here, it dips up. You don't see all that because it looks level because pine straw is very light. So you explain that to someone who don't know, now they know why you're charging it a little bit more for you to put down mulch or rocks. You get what I mean? Like those are underlying factors that sometimes I don't like people debating with me on price. I typically don't really negotiate on price. What I do is I provide my prospects with options. Like, hey, you want to get your lawn together, right? This is another example. Hey, you want to get your lawn together? Okay. I know it's bare, it's bare dirt and your grass didn't take or whatever. You know, there's a few different ways you can do this. Some people would like to seed their lawn, but we're here in the South. We have warm season grasses. The two type of seeds that you can get here in the South, because St. Augustine doesn't come in seed, and Georgia seed hasn't been proven proficient, and centipede, people have a hard time even germinating that. But Bermuda seed is probably the one that you would want to choose. However, when it comes to seed, let's just think of this as a thought process, customer. Seed costs if you want me to come in as a professional, I'm not just going to put seed down on what is here. We do have to put down, have to top dress the lawn. So we make sure that your lawn can actually take this seed. And also, do you have an irrigation system? Because there's a nurturing process for this seed to germinate. And do you have dogs? Because you probably need to make sure these dogs are not let out in the backyard, running over the yard, disturbing the seed from germinating. It's so many factors that we don't talk about, but the customers need to know that. They need to know what all go into it. So for that reason, to be honest, in my business, I try not to even sell seed to people because they're not prepared for what comes with it. And I can't promise something that I know won't come to pass by them not doing what they're supposed to do as far as irrigating it, and the seed dry out or burn out because they didn't irrigate it. They don't have an irrigation system. They said they're gonna water it, but guess what? That means they got to move a sprinkler around their whole backyard because we see it the whole backyard. I try not to put myself in those situations because now this customer feels some type of way after they spent $1,000, $2,000 seeding their yard. In the same token, you don't have to go with seed. Instead, let's try this. We could do this. If it's just a small area of the backyard, we can sprig it. We can put plugs, and that's a little bit more cost effective. Plugs are a little bit cheaper, and it's basically a mothered plant that was grown by itself in this pot. It has a established root system, and when we put these, 6 inches to a feet away from each other, this grass is already established. All you have to do is irrigate it, maintain it as far as the mowing, and you'll see this plant is going to start running. It's going to send out stolons. Then they're going to take root. They're going to shoot a grass blade up, and they're going to keep filling in those bare spots. But you have to make sure you're irrigating it and mowing it frequently, make sure it's fertilized and things like that. And you actually can establish this bare area for a fraction of the cost of you actually doing sod. Sod, however, guys, that's going to be the top thing that costs. Sod, you're going to instantly have a beautiful lawn, and we can do that within a 2-day time frame. We come in day one, we do the preparation. We either, cultivate the lawn and remove everything we need to do, and we come in a week before and actually kill it off to make sure we don't have vegetation growing while your new sod is trying to take. But that's one thing I try to prepare people for. That way they know what goes into each thing. You see how I broke that down? I talked about the seeding process. I talked about sprigging and putting plugs down. Those 2 different things that they can buy that will work. Seeding will be the cheapest. Plugging will be the next costly thing because if you need an abundance amount of it. But sod is the top thing. That's my process. I try to not negotiate on price, but say, hey, I can't wiggle my price because the price that I charge is what's required to perform this service. But with sod installation, you're getting the whole 9 yards. The first day we're going to come in, we're going to level and grade the lawn and remove the O-line in preparation for the sod to go down on day 2. More than likely on day 2, the sod company is going to come in, they're going to deliver it. Me and the guys, we're going to take our time and get these things, pretty butted up to each other. That way you got a nice, full established lawn. You need irrigation? We can do irrigation on preparation. So I tell people when they need other things, like they say, I want irrigation. They start going for the sod option. It's like, I try to tell them, hey, if you're going to include irrigation, we're going to do a 3-day. It's going to be 3 days. So the first day, we're going to come in and do the prep. Day 2, we're going to come in and install the irrigation while the ground is bare. And day 3, that's when the sod installation, we're going to come in. So I mentally prepare these people. And I tell them this too. It's going to look worse before it gets better. So yes, we are going to be in the driveway. There's going to be mud everywhere. If you got any pets and you let them out before we can come back the next day, there's a possibility they can track mud in. I just prepare them for what's to come. When you over communicate and you have it in written format, all these things, it really helps people. How many services do you offer? Not many. I've been learning from my mistakes over the years. I used to offer many different services: full maintenance, mulch installation, sod installation. I'm narrowing it down. As of right now, I'm offering sod installation and mulch installation. I'm just focused on the landscape portion of it because it's easy to get, focus like a flashlight, if you understand what I mean. I'm trying to focus more so like a laser and not a flashlight. I've been saying that within my previous videos because I think I'm pretty efficient at certain things within my business that I want to focus on what I enjoy doing. I love doing sod installation. I love educating clients about the different turf types and things like that. Another piece of this information that you can be making in these videos to potential clients. In my area, I've done my own research. So I located all my sod farms. We got the super size and other local farms of sod. And I tell them, hey, we have over 13 different grass types in our area. And they be like, 13? And I was like, yes. I said we have St. Augustine, Palmetto St. Augustine, we have Tamstar St. Augustine, we have Centipede, we have Bermuda, we have 419, we have like Tiff Turf, we have Xeon Zoysia, Zenith Zoysia, Icon Zoysia. I tell them all the different grass types we have, and it can be very confusing. But I tell them too that depending on the grass type, they all have different purposes. So if you have a contractor come in here and they measure out your lawn and they tell you, you know, you got magnolia trees, oak trees, and they say, yeah, we can put down centipede and put it all around here, and it's fully shaded yard, they're putting you in a bad place, because reason being is Centipede and Bermuda, they need full sunlight, guys. They need full sunlight. You can only go with a St. Augustine or Zoysia to sustain, you know, the lawn to stay filled. I say the thing is, the grass is not going to die immediately. They're going to put that Centipede or Bermuda down in the shaded area. It's not going to die fast. No, it's going to gradually die. It's going to die over a process, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. It's not going to happen immediately, because these cultivars of grass don't survive in this type of environment. So it's very important that you put the right grass for the right yard. So if somebody call me and say, hey, I want some Zoysia, you know, they probably can go with Zoysia because it's a little bit more versatile, and it's a little bit more resilient. But if they call me and they're trying to get Centipede or Bermuda and the conditions don't meet what's required for that type of grass type, I let them know that, and they appreciate me saving them a headache. And also, if they don't go with me for service, they know when they reach out to somebody else, know what to speak on, and see if that person try to deter them, or are they going to just try to sell them? Are you just going to try to sell somebody on something that you want to sell, or are you going to sell them what they need for their property? That's important. That shows you have character and integrity. You're not trying to sell them just because you're want and need to get a sale. You're trying to make sure they make a correct decision. And that's what it's about being in business. I don't like to feel like it's a forceful thing. So that's the type of videos. That's a few examples that I just gave you that you can kind of focus on creating videos like that. There's so many. I'm not in your business. I don't know what you offer, but you can really dial in and talk about many different underlying factors that people either don't talk about ahead of time. That way you can inform this person before they meet you. We're in a technology age, guys, and it's sad to say, but people can know every single thing about you and your business, what you do. And when you pull up, they already know what's up with you. If you have the opportunity to shift their perspective and not treat you as like all the other companies that they reached out to have done business with in the past, you making a change on what makes your business unique. You know what I mean? I don't feel like there's enough people creating videos, talking about the thing that they do, sharing it with on their Facebook and other platforms, which they should. And this is what this challenge is about. It's about being relevant and being authentic and confidence in the thing that you do the most. I feel like you can really, really grow from a perspective of leads. I have my own testimony. I did this for one of my other businesses this past season. I spent $0 for my holiday lighting business, $0 on marketing. And I got over 200 leads in for my business. We did really well to a point where we got like 40 clients that didn't even get an estimate, because I reached out to them. I said, hey, we're booked for the season. That's a good problem to have, guys. That means I created enough content and people, they bought me. They wanted to do business with me. Yes, they can look online. Yes, they can find the prices and other things of other businesses. But my whole process is what locked them in. And this will be another conversation for another video. But my CRM, when people reached out to me, the first they see my video. They see my video on Facebook because I was sharing it like my buddy taught me within these groups. I was sharing these videos across a few different platforms, getting the impressions. And people was rocking with it. They literally was rocking with it. I had a well-crafted video. And they tell me they found me by the video. They go to the website. I got a bunch of screening questions that are absolutely necessary for people to answer. And once they answer those questions, it gives me an idea of what type of client that I'm dealing with. Is this Like I had some customers that they even try to wiggle through the cracks. Like for instance, we have houses that we do that are, 3, 4 stories, and they'll select that it's a single story. But when I look it up, it's I mean, yeah, they'll select a single story budget, but the property is like 4 stories. So you can't select that because that doesn't apply to you. It says single story only. So by you selecting that, sometimes yes, it can be an error, or you could be telling me you only want to spend $500 for this, you know, this property that I know would be over in the thousands range, usually $1,000 to $2,000 for at least a standard roof line. So having a screening process, that's another conversation, and making sure you're taking a customer down a specific journey. Um, so if you guys don't have a website, you don't absolutely need one ASAP, I would say, but make sure you have a way to channel where these leads would go in. Once they see your video, where they're gonna go. I think that is absolutely important. Where are these customers gonna go if you start creating videos right now? If you don't have an answer to that question, you do need a website. You do need a way for people to seek you out. How are these people gonna seek you out? I would suggest definitely a website, guys. If you don't have a website, it's too many ways to make one. You can go on, GoDaddy. This AI, y'all. And if you're struggling with ideas as far as the videos that you need to come up with, if you know your industry and you have an idea of what you want to talk about, go to ChatGPT. Don't act like you ain't heard that word before. And when you do use ChatGPT, if you're using it to help you create these videos that we should be using on this challenge, make sure you're having a conversation with it. Don't, it's not as simple. There's so many people that are using it surface level that it really makes, it gets really redundant. The market is saturated when it comes to content and blogs and stuff, just posting content. Like I told ChatGPT when I was having conversations, because I use the voice when I talk to it. I haven't used it in like a week because I feel like I want my authentic self to be able to form the full concept of what I'm trying to say before I reach out to it. And that's what I would suggest you do. Have a full understanding of what you desire. Don't necessarily get your full context of what you want to say behind it. I don't use script or nothing, but just bullet points of things to be mindful of when you're having conversation. It does help you with ideas, but definitely have a conversation with it. When it starts saying words like transform, bro, I told ChatGPT never ever use the word transform. Literally, it's so many. That's how when I see somebody post like another business post an ad or something, and I see the word transform, I already know what time it is. You use ChatGPT and you didn't critique it enough for it, avoid using that word. So now I know your material is not organically yourself. But people don't read. That's another reason why I want you guys to take on this challenge. People do not read. They scan through stuff. They ain't trying to hear it. I bet right now I can go through your feed on your device, on Instagram, wherever, TikTok, and you probably watch more videos than what you've read over the last week. I'm pretty sure it's this dopamine that people get from short form content and video content in general. It serves it right up. It serves it right up. So that's why I think it's more effective. I feel like we should be more producers of social media versus the consumers. But at times you do have to consume to learn some stuff. You on here watching me right now. I watch people. I watch people because I need, despite if I agree or disagree with what they're saying, I have an open mind and I make my own decisions based off of what I think works for me. And that's how I feel like you should be. In this situation, I think it would only be helpful to take on a challenge like, let's see if I can do this for 30 days. I don't think I can. I bet you right now, if I talked to 100 people on this live and I said, are you going to start? They can give me 101 reasons why they're not going to start. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to chop up, y'all. If y'all got any questions, drop them in the comment section. I appreciate you actually joining this live. I'm going to sit on here for the next, 5 minutes. And anybody got any questions, kind of just answer it. But I will be leaving the link in the description. It is to a Discord. The Discord is called Entrepreneur Journey, and it's a thread on that Discord that says 30-day challenge. And within that thread as well, we'll be keeping up with, progress in February. So it doesn't start today. It starts next Saturday. So I'm gonna be making a few more lives because I would love for everybody to engage in it. The more people, it's like bamboo, baby. It's easy. It's easy to break one piece of bamboo, but together, a bunch of bamboo, man, it holds the ship together. So you guys can fall through within the full month of this process of trying to stay consistent. That's the goal, though. It's a selfish goal a little bit because I'm trying to make sure I'm staying aligned. I have my struggles. I'm human, y'all. I ain't no I'm not an alien. I'm human. I promise I'm human. And I have places where I fall short, and sometimes it's being consistent with what I know I'm supposed to be doing. On the flip side, I do have some great books that I do read. One of my favorite books for the last 2 months has been, and I listen to books, audiobooks, and I read books as well. But the one I've been hooked on lately is Who's Buying You by Max Story. It's very it talks about character and integrity and why people buy. And it's not so more so, it's so, to me, it's so genuine. I appreciate when people are not trying to be persuasive and forceful. This book dial into those details. It's more so of hey, you need to be yourself. People rock with you to an extent. They want to buy from you off of you providing information and being able to, you know, let them make an informed decision to purchase. One example from the book that I'm talking about, it's a guy. He said he just moved into Atlanta, and he went off to a furniture store to buy furniture. And there's a guy at the counter named Scott, and he said, "I'm the type of person when I go into a store, I don't want someone to follow me. I don't want them to try to sell to me. If I ask them for something, I kind of just want them to point me in the right direction. So I walk up to the counter. I say, 'Hey Scott, I'm looking for this type of, I think a lazy man, something lazy boy or whatever. Do you have that? If you could, you can point me in the right direction. And if we find something that fit, you'll be the first to know.' He said Scott pointed me in that direction, and I went over there and I was able to see what products they had. He said what I respected about it is he could have been a sales puppet and followed the protocol of what the store teaches them is to, when a customer come in, you greet them, and if they're asking for something, you follow them over to where the stuff is, and then you try to either sell to them or give them suggestions, etc. to move on. He said I respected that he allowed me to go over to the area, and I appreciate it. It gave me okay, that's a thumbs up for him, right? And then he's like, after that, he was like, after we found what we wanted, we called them over. He was like, "Hey, this is the one we want to go with, and it's amazing. This is the one we want. You guys have it in stock." He's like, this dude come over, same guy, Scott. Yes, he'll make commissions off the sale. He has every reason to try to sell to them. But instead, this is what he did. He said, he's like, "Are you guys sure this is the one you want? Have you guys looked at other retailers to see if, you can find a better one or one that may you guys you like much better?" Or he's like, I suggest you do that before, making a purchase. Who would say that if they're trying to sell you something? Who would tell you to go? I do that to my customers, and I've been doing it for years. It's some things I read in these books, and I'm like, man, I do that organically because I'm being transparent with the customer. But getting back to the story, he's like, this is what Scott's telling them. He's telling them to, "Hey, did you do a little research and at least visit a few places? That way you can know this is the right one for you." He's like, "Oh no, we're sure this is the one we want." And he was like, "I'll tell you what, you can look probably around all these places. This is one of the best ones for you." But he's like, he basically, by him just setting that tone of not trying to let them buy it just because they wanted it, and letting them know that, hey, you can actually look around. I'm pretty sure you won't find one as good as this. It's a good decision, etc. So he's like, we bought from him. We was happy to deal with him. And at the counter, he was like, "Yeah, by the way, my name's Scott. And if you guys ever need any help with anything furniture wise, feel free to just, call, and I can actually assist you in any other way." So this guy, Scott, he made multiple deposits. For one, he listened to the customer and what the customer desired by not trying to follow them and sell them on something. Two, once he got over to where they were and they were wanting to make the purchase, he didn't just allow them to make the purchase. This is where he became unique by not allowing them to just buy and actually them suggesting them on other options. Because in reality, to me, that highlights that he was focused on their interests at heart. If they can find a better one or a better price, he's giving them that option to do that. And number three, he made a deposit by saying, hey, if you guys ever need any help or assistance finding certain stuff, more than likely we can find it at one of our sister stores or whatever. That's all pluses for this guy, Scott, who followed them from day one. So he said, it's like, if I ever needed furniture, you best believe that's the person who I always go to, because there's so many situations that I've been in and people always try to sell you on stuff because they have their interests at heart and not yours. So that's just a little mini story. And that book that I'm talking about is called Who's Buying You. It's so many mini stories within, certain types of books, but I do take value from them, and I apply them to my own life and see how it worked better out for me to deal with people, because I feel like I want to increase my ability to communicate with people better, be transparent with people, be authentic to people, etc. It's like I feel like that's something that has to be consistently worked on to thrive. But you guys got any questions? I'm about to bounce out of here. I've been in here for an hour, and I just really want to kind of mention this challenge. I'll be making a few more videos this week because I'm definitely trying to get a handful of people on board. It's more so of a focus group, a mastermind group for the month of February. I want to see who's going to take it on. Who's going to take on the challenge? Who's going to be consistent with it? And how many servers? Yeah, cool. Alfredo, man. Yeah. But I want to see who's going to, take on this challenge. I think it'll be really cool, really interesting. And I'm willing to give whoever the help as far as the tools that they need. You got a phone right now, so you already halfway there. You know what I'm saying? There's so many people that misuse a phone. Oh my gosh. I don't want to keep going down rabbit holes, but I feel like phones are so underutilized nowadays. Guys, this phone that you have in your hand that you're watching this video on, that I'm recording on right now, they didn't have a computer in the White House 20, 30 years ago that can do all the things that this thing can do. So I think we take it for granted sometimes of the things that that's controllable. We can be more useful with the technology at hand. I think naturally with generation after generation, kids are getting smarter because they're utilizing technology. Social media is becoming more relevant for people to get their business out there and actually thrive. But it's for the people who are utilizing it the right way. I'm trying to align myself the right way, and I want you guys to align yourselves the right way as well. So let's take advantage of the thing that's being offered to us. It's completely free. Social media, I can see in the next 20 years, I can't imagine if we have to pay for something like a social media. Think about if you had to pay for YouTube, or you had to pay for Facebook, or you had to pay for each of these platforms. Imagine how that would be. You know what I mean? I think it'll come a day where that's a thing. So I'm trying to take advantage, strike wise hot, where I'm able to, put my business in position where I can actually get these organic leads. But that's the focus, guy. We want to focus 30 days on trying to capture organic leads. But I appreciate you watching, Alfredo. I think that's your name, man. If I'm mispronouncing it, you can let me know in the comment section, man. But I appreciate you joining. I'm going to get going, man. I just wanted to shoot a video for the day because that been on my mind. And don't forget, guys, look in the description area. I'm going to get out of here. Later.